All right, we're here. So last time, you guys cleared out the full basement of the fort on the coastline here in the swamp. You were. I don't believe we took the night. I think we paused as you guys were finishing it up.
That's how I remember it.
Yeah, and then you were all going to continue adventuring into the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Why don't we start there?
All right. I would say probably as part of the long rest, I would use that tool to try to get some measurements off the coast.
Oh, yeah, and that's extremely possible. You're familiar with the workings of this device, and you're able to get, like, depth measurements and that sort of thing, and jot them down for Nami, and be ready to bring a short, useful report back for next time.
Cool.
Now, you guys were talking about heading south next, correct?
Yeah, to try to trace as far down the coastline as we can while we have the opportunity.
Yeah, okay. Irenaeus, in that case, says that she will go and see if she can meet up with the team that is going north to the ruined temple that you guys found earlier. And you all seem like you have everything covered here, and she's going to go team up with Dex and whoever's escorting him this week and give them all a hand up north. So once morning rolls around, she'll take her lizard and dart off northwest, roughly.
Okay. Cool.
Now then, you guys can go ahead and take your short rest. So anybody who didn't do it already can hit your short rest button and do any hit dice that you want to spend.
Cool. Let's see. In chat, did I do a short rest last time? Doesn't look like it.
And anybody who wants to use their rations should go ahead and use their rations. As far as the lizards are concerned, I am going to assume that any rations that you guys have will account for them being supplied for the same amount of time. So if you get into situations where you're running low and we are struggling, you might have to do the same thing for the lizards that you do for yourselves.
Okay.
Okay, why does my HP say 32 when I usually have a 27? What happened? There was a spell, I remember.
There was a spell. I don't think it applies anymore, so you might want
I'll have to fix that.
Convert back to normal. Can we double check from Montlarin?
Yeah, that should have.
Last?
That lasted an hour, so it should be gone.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Okay, what's that going on in the background?
Oh.
Ignore that roll.
It just makes it hard to hear.
Oh, sorry. I can mute my mic.
Okay, just double checking Embergreen. You're certain that you had 27 health maximum? I just wanted to.
I had higher
you
than.
didn't.
Well, no, that was what it was set at the time.
Hang on, I actually do have this somewhere. Let me. I want to make sure you didn't accidentally
Nerf my shit. Yeah, that makes sense.
I believe I've got you set to level 5. I have you at 32 maximum.
Cool. I'll put it up.
Yeah. Any additions to your maximum HP should either, if they're mechanically temporary hit points, should go in the little +0 circle on the top right of that heart. Any mechanical plus or minus max hit points should go after that -0 after your max health. So your 32 -0 would turn into like a -5 if you got bit by a vampire or
I
or
should
a
have put that in the plus up in the corner.
Okay,
or
so
you
mine says 31 minus -5.
exactly. So that's +5 for you. So now you can zero that out.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if you get a max hit point increase, like from Mont Lauren, you could do -5 and it'll count as a plus.
Oh, and actually that lasted 8 hours, not 1. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a nice spell.
That's a good
Either
spell.
way, it probably expired at this point, but
Right. I just wanted to fix the indiscretion.
Great. Okay. Cool.
I'm reclaiming my level 1 spells with the
okay, recovery. Sounds good. So as usual, we'll do the I think I said with the lizards you guys get normal speed, so 4 hexes a day.
I don't get. Do I get my spells back?
Not on a short rest.
That's what I thought. Okay, just making sure.
Only class who gets spells back on a short rest is warlocks, and wizards get a little bit.
Yeah, wizards get 1 short rest for half their spell level rounded up, and warlocks, of course, they have a small pool, but it's just a short rest to restore it.
And we don't have any monks. We don't have any warlocks either. Okay, so yeah, you guys can go as usual. Your 4 hexes riding your swamp lizards, and you have the run of things. So they will allow you to move smoothly. They can climb their way through any muck. They are knowledge.
Let me go get my my fiend. I'll be right back.
Cat. Okay. And once Mont Lauren gets back, we'll do the same as usual. 1 free hex, and then 3 encounter check rolls. We'll say 1 from everybody except 1 person you guys can vote on for the day of travel.
Okay.
I don't mind throwing 1.
Sure.
Whoever.
D20, right?
Yep, D20. Whoever wants to be responsible for.
That's not what I meant to do.
Cool.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
All right, actually, how do you do that? Is it bang roll?
What are you trying to do?
Roll a die, 20.
Oh, roll 20.
Oh, couldn't you just do the
is it bang roll 20?
Yeah, you should
roll
have.
20?
You should have a macro quick bar that you can see, maybe below the avatars.
Oh, encounter check and encounter.
Yeah.
I done.
So I'll just do it in whatever order you guys roll, and nice 11. And then you guys can choose what 4 hexes you'll move, I guess.
Can we review why we're heading south?
Sure.
Yeah, we're done with basically the first day of a Redshift, and instead of running back and calling it quits, we figured we'd take the momentum and try to trace it down as far as we could, so when it comes to doing ship-related stuff, we don't have a big blind spot over there.
Yep, you would have a couple days before the first wave.
Okay. That's a fairly significant behavioral departure, so I'm asking.
I mean, ever since we got to this area, like, scouting's been one of my big priorities, so the fact that we actually have the mobility to do it has been really great. I will do...
All right, and where is it that you're wanting to go? If we do 4 hexes a day, it's going to take us a couple of days to get to unexplored territory.
Yeah,
we
the
just
idea
go
is to
due
try
south.
to map as much of the coastline as we can, basically.
Right, so we can figure out where the best place is to set out for that spire.
Wait, was it 4 hexes or 6 hexes with normal movement?
Normal movement is 4.
I believe it is.
It's 6 in Curse of Strahd because the hexes are smaller.
Right.
Yeah, they are weird in that game.
But if we I don't know if we speed things up, like if I cast Water Walk, doesn't that produce more? Isn't that
Water
what
Walk is
we did
only
last time?
for an hour, I believe, right?
It's a ritual. I can cast it over and over and over,
Oh,
Yeah,
and
but
it
you
lasts
can't-
an hour each time. That's how we got where we are so quickly.
So, pretty much, so you guys are riding these lizards, and they have very long legs, and that is how they get around. So they're able to carry you over any patches of muck or anything else like that that you would normally have to go through, or cast a 10-minute ritual to get around, or that sort of thing. So, normally the entire swamp would be difficult terrain, and you guys could mitigate that with resources that you have. Taking care of these beasts allows you to mitigate the difficult terrain without having to spend any other resources.
Right. Okay.
Is that logical with everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's that this is basically their built-in immunity to swamp difficulty, but in doing so, they can't really, go fast like a horse on land.
Yeah, they're not like a speedy creature when it comes down to it. They are weird, spidery, tall lizards that anywhere else in the world, these lizards would be pocket-sized, but they have become big in the Redshift area. So they have switched from living in small puddles and stagnant waters to making a very large swamp their territory. And they are conveniently sized for humanoids.
Cool. So you said since this is the end of day 1, the Redshift itself can be up for as long as we've seen, like, what, a week or 10 days before?
It usually doesn't go that long. Most of the time it's like a 4-day period where it's open space. But obviously there's always been time after the first wave for you guys to retreat at that point. So if you think it's pretty reasonable that if you arrived somewhere on the 4th day and then the first wave happened, you would be able to get back to Orvis within those 3 or 4 days, however far away you are.
Okay. Good to know. Well then, I guess we'll see how far we can get, and, we'll return back as soon as we can when we need to.
Yeah, sounds right to me.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got...
Now, I do just want to note, nobody's ever seen the Redshift come at the same time as the first wave, but also nobody ever said it can't happen.
Right.
That's true.
I'm not really comfortable with him having just said that.
Right.
I mean, he's been trying to kill us since day 1,
I mean, if it came down to it, we're only going to be like 2 days from Tilda.
That's true.
Irenaeus will have passed on where we went, so if there's any suspicion, then they'll hopefully think to, that we might have just gone down there out of safety.
Yeah, exactly. And like most of the time, now that you've got the communicators built into the obelisks, you can call into home base, but as long as you get there within the next shift, they know there's a couple of places that people are able to hide out that
Right.
are a little bit safer.
All right. Alternatively, though, if you folks would prefer, there's that long stretch just north of us that we could clear and have better clarity on. That's not as far to get to. It's going through area that we know a little bit better, so it shouldn't be too bad trying to get back. What do you think, folks?
Sounds good to me, man.
I'm in.
All right. So then we can just switch gears and go north. So then, technically, are we starting from here, or are we starting from the fort itself as our point of origin?
Let's see. I think you'd be starting from the fort, technically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, we are here.
Okay.
Day one.
Day one. 11. Okay, so we are going north now?
Yeah, we're going to go north instead.
Alrighty. So you get your 4 hexes. I'm just going to have you move those 4, and then we'll adjudicate.
2, 3, 4. And
right, so
being extra vigilantly looking out for giant 3-eyed bog messes.
Right.
Well, and toads, because we found them along here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me see. I will take those in order. So 11, 13, and 16. Mr. Ambergreen, if you would please click the encounter button.
Indeed.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to have to ask you guys to backtrack about 2 steps.
Okay.
And you guys stop for lunch. Whatever you're going to do, take a break in the early afternoon. And as you're all getting ready to... you've repacked all of your stuff. You've gotten your gear back onto your mounts. And you're getting ready to set off. A cloud covers the sun. And this is normally pretty ordinary. But today, the world, as a result of this cloud covering the sun, turns pitch black, and you almost see the world in ultraviolet.
Yeah.
Almost like a blacklight.
Yep.
Well,
Does
that's
it
trippy.
make fabric kind of glow differently like a black light?
Oh yeah. Like all the effects that you would expect from something like that occur.
Would I know something about like gases that make up odd clouds?
I can have you do a what would that be? Maybe history check.
I'm good with that.
Oh,
Wow.
yes, you're familiar with reactive gases.
Oh, that must be a cloud made of quite a different gas than, the usual vapors that clouds are made from. That's
Yeah, you know
weird.
you know how the water cycle works too. Now, the actual effect this event is going to have on your party is that I'm going to ask you all to make some survival checks because it is your surroundings are dark, and oh, okay. Everybody, please make one. if you would.
Alrighty then.
Amber Green, don't ruin it.
Yes!
Okay. Wow, that was extremely good.
The 18.
So, despite being cloaked in this weird darkness that makes everything look strange and unusual and otherworldly, you guys are able to calm down your mounts as they kind of get a little panicked about the world changing around them, and you just proceed. Now, if you guys want to do anything more than that in the interim, you can, but you are able to go the rest of your day unimpeded by
As
this.
we go, is there anything near or far that particularly seems to glow or catch the light differently than everything else?
Well, let's see. You don't run into anything else on your way, unfortunately. And you're not near enough to any other structures that you're able to find that you can see any, like, glowing stones or anything like that.
Okay. While it's been kind of passing by, is it something where we've been able to tell, like, east to west, or what directions kind of came from and going, if it's on the catching on the wind, if it's being emitted from a source in the distance, or is it just like cloud, just like any other cloud in the sky, except when it went by the sun, it's just like bleh.
Yeah, like up until the moment it fully eclipsed the sun, it was a completely ordinary cloud to you all, and then this thing happened at that moment. I mean, really, you're just going off of an assumption that it was in fact the cloud that caused this, due to two events lining up perfectly.
Well, when the cloud passes, does it go away? Or is it still
Yes.
kind of...
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, that was my question. Is this permanent, or did it pass?
No, by the time you guys are decide to call it quits for the day, about a couple minutes before you reach that point, the cloud, the sun comes out as it's setting from behind this cloud, and that is the point when the world goes back to normal and you can see again.
I'm not as pale as most high elves, but am I feeling the effects of a sunburn or anything like that?
You mean from, like, being eclipsed?
Just from the quality of light. I'm just wondering if it's like literally intensified UV or if it just filtered out everything else that I'm trying to keep it in character.
Oh, got it. Yeah, no, it didn't affect you physically. The only thing that you could tell that it was doing was that it was changing the way that you perceive the world.
Crazy. Okay, cool.
Although, if you want to roleplay a Mount
Yeah,
Lauren
that
as
is
like
weird.
throwing on a hat immediately, I'm fine with that.
Oh, no, it's fine. I don't think he would actually know. That's why I was
Yeah.
asking the way I did.
Instead, I am penning a new poem called Black Hole Sun.
I feel like I've heard that one before.
I think I have a lot of questions, but they're not quite formulated yet. But it's like, how? I mean, is it so dark we can't actually perceive anything, or can we make things out? Do our eyes adjust? How long is this? Is it a matter of many hours?
It would be a matter of about 5 or 6 hours that this occurs. Yeah.
Okay,
Basically,
so
the
during
entire
that
day
time,
from noon to sunset.
okay, and during that time, did our eyes adjust to the dark?
Yeah,
Like they would in real life?
based on your survival rolls, yeah, pretty quickly you guys adjusted to the weird darkness, and you were able to continue navigating in that space.
Okay, and for the folks that have dark vision, were they unaffected?
Um,
Or is this a different kind of dark vision?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, so like yes. Speaking scientifically, would ultraviolet affect somebody who has dark vision?
I would imagine a cat's still gonna be able to see with the light. The the little reflecties in their eyes are gonna be catching whatever light and amplifying it for them anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think realistically at a distance they wouldn't even notice, but as the in the near field where you were dealing more with like what D&D would call bright light, you would notice.
Probably.
so in that case, the dwarf and the elf are probably doing a little bit better about it than the other two.
Okay.
But again, you
During
guys
this,
all
like 5
like,
or 6
handled it.
hours of us, carefully picking our way through the terrain, I presume we're having conversations about this phenomenon.
If
Certainly.
you can, if you want.
And speculation about, have we ever seen this kind of thing before? Could this be an eclipse, which we're all familiar, but is this not acting like an eclipse?
No, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's occluding. It's almost more like a filter, like a giant crystal put in front of a lantern. But
Well, normally we would be dissecting cause. I mean, we would be into it.
Here's a question: for how long we were traveling and how big this cloud was, would I be able to estimate if the same light would be reaching the fort? Like how far widespread is the shadow of this cloud? Would I have been able to maybe spot that with Badath's help?
Yeah. So using Badath to assist you in this, you see that like the weird light that affected you all affects as far as you can see in every direction. Now that's not super far. You can't see all the way back to Orbis or Thesbridge or even the fort that you've left behind. But it's at the very least a very large area. It wouldn't be out of the question, you think, for something like this to potentially have affected the entire region.
Okay. So we're definitely not the only ones who are seeing this.
Right, and if, excuse me, if what appears to be a cloud is what's doing the obscuration of light, normally clouds move. So this is a fixed cloud. I mean, I would imagine that 5 or 6 hours of this persistent phenomena, we would be having all kinds of speculative conversations about what might have caused this. What is that cloud? What is the nature of that cloud? Can it be dispelled? Yada, yada, yada.
Interesting. And I kind of
control
agree.
weather yet.
Yeah, I don't think so. Do any of us know control weather?
I don't. Nice one.
I don't.
I think let me look.
It's at least 3rd level, if so. Might be 4th
Right.
or 5th.
Have we actually correlated the cloud to the effect, or is that just an assumption on our part right now?
Well, at the end of it, when the cloud passes, we're able to determine that. But I guess if we're talking about conversations while it's happening, it's correlative, but we don't have solid proof unless I'm able to get Badath out of the above or below
cloud,
or whatever to
right.
be able to kind of see the difference.
Because I'm curious, if it's that cloud, then it might not even be. I mean, it's redshift related in the fact that said cloud probably wouldn't be there without the redshift, but it's probably more natural alchemy than magical effect.
Or redshift related.
There are gases that affect
magic.
light, so.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
It's not the normal sort of effect of a cloud. It could be that it's a redshifted cloud, that the cloud itself kind of became denser and harder for light to penetrate, and that's perhaps why it was able to become such a large,
Right,
and
not-
long-term.
not-
You guys did
magic.
just come from a fort where there was a bunch of redshifted water, so it's not like that can't happen.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if it's a physical effect or an actually magical effect.
Right.
Though this far below that cloud, I don't know how we could figure that out unless one of us was willing to go investigate and had that capability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can do certain things with weather, but they're very specific, and I don't have them prepared. Sorry.
I can float upwards for 10 straight minutes, and then we'll, I believe, float downward for 10 straight minutes. But I don't think that's really going to get us any useful information.
Right.
Right. I can't really do anything that will help.
Yeah, I have no abilities that will help in this regard.
I could cast this
Other
spell
than
and hope
that I can tell you, right? Other than
Does
that, I
the
can
spell
tell
magic
you,
have a range?
it's like 60 feet, I think, or maybe it's eyesight actually, 120.
120.
I don't. I mean, Marlarin has some relative exposure to high magic, you know, just from his involvement in a royal court in a magical world and all that.
Yeah.
But as Montlarin, I don't think I know of any school of magic that summons particular gases just to form clouds in the sky.
Yeah, like you could probably do it as like some weird custom conjuration shit.
Right. But I wonder if this is a redshift effect. I actually wonder if it comes from something. Like, is this going to be a problem moving forward? Are we going to see this more often, or
Right.
is
I
this
mean-
just one random effect?
This is something that has to be really high up and really huge in order to
Yeah.
affect this large of an area.
Right. And Montlarin knows enough about, you know, pseudo medieval science to understand that there are some, you know, whether he knows that they're gases or vapors or airs or miasmas, that there are some airs, you know, some vapors that you can't breathe. So like his thinking here is more along the lines of, is this making the redshift area unlivable in the long run?
Big quotes around unlivable.
Right. But I mean, like, you know, is it going to be, you know, like bad air flooding a mine?
Yeah.
You know, that's a good point. I know we've seen clouds that just kind of magically conjure, you know, either right above our heads or that we see in the distance. It's in some ways it kind of seems like just a leak of wild magic that randomly casts weather spells every now and then.
Right, like we've heard of glass rain and things like that.
Yeah, so it could be
Right, but
something
that
akin to
suggests
that.
that the redshift is starting either at a higher altitude or sooner than we've seen it before.
Or that, like the other said, it may have like shifted an existing cloud, and
Yeah.
then
But that's precisely why I was trying to figure out what direction the cloud itself was traveling. If it seems like it could have traveled from the direction of the tower, or if it came completely off the
would
coast.
be,
it'd be odd.
it would be like southeast to west.
Oh, interesting.
Huh. Yeah, that.
So yeah, that implies it probably was an errant cloud, unless it came off of that spire in the bay there.
Right, but that would have to be a really low-hanging cloud to be covering this large an area.
Right. But I mean, even a low-hanging cloud wouldn't be able to cover that large of an area. It's the higher ones that can
Right.
cover the greater area.
Right.
It's definitely something we should talk to Decus about when we get back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm
I
sure
agree.
it'll be the talk of the camp by the time we get back there.
Right. I feel like I'm not qualified to really understand what I'm doing.
Would you guys, would you say that the light was bent or that the sky was?
Yes?
Oh God, that just asks more questions.
It does.
I'm working on a couplet here. It's just got to land right.
It does. I mean, it raises all kinds of questions, and we have no way to answer any of them.
Has
We can
Montlarin done
speculate
the dual slit experiment in school?
Montlarin has not done the dual split. Montlarin knows what a prism is, but that's about as close to that as it. Yeah, Mullarn's kind of an idiot.
So just
Evergreen ain't all that bright either, man.
Just out of curiosity,
He has a 12 intelligence.
what did it look like? I probably would have tried the rose-colored glasses on. What did it look like through those? Just as one would expect, or did that filter some of the light out, or some of the filtering out, I suppose?
I have a 10 intelligence. I just have an 18 wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So imagine you are in a room lit by blacklight, and whatever wearing rose-colored glasses in a room like that would look like.
It just makes things more red. Okay.
Yeah.
So bright pink on your whites.
Interesting.
You know, when you're wearing rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags.
That's problematic.
But hey, if you guys want to go all the way to your campsite that we had you go to, I'll just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, as I say, we should probably press forward because
Yeah.
I don't think any of us could do anything useful about what we're seeing.
Right. And I guess the question would be, did we miss the other two encounters along the way since we had rolled 3?
Yeah, you are fine on
Okay.
those. You don't encounter anything else for the rest of the day.
Cool.
Hey,
All
sir, can I ask a meta lore question?
Sure.
Does this world have a concept of the weave the way, what is that, Greyhawk does?
So basically, the way you want to think of it is that ley lines.
Okay.
Which my understanding of the weave is like kind of parallel to ley lines.
Yeah, it's similar. It's like the weave is everywhere, but it concentrates along lines of force or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how it works. Yeah, certain locations have high concentrations where the rivers cross each other, and that is where you can do powerful magics. Otherwise, you're just plucking out of streams or smaller rivers or something when you do magic yourself.
Are you a wizard, Neuro?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you? I'm mentioning this as Mont Laurent and Nimbus at this point. Sorry to get back into character. Have you ever looked at the quality of the? You might call it mana here. The power of magic.
I have, though, I suppose the way that I maybe not necessarily interpret, interface with it is kind of, well, listening to the wind and the water around me, and it kind of tells me where I'm at and where things are flowing and going.
It just occurred to me that if we had a map of the way the magic flowed, it would be interesting to see how the Redshift disrupted that. I don't honestly know enough about what you do to know if that would be significant, but I am curious.
That would be an interesting sort of thing.
That would be very interesting.
I have to imagine maps of that sort exist, but I don't know if any would be as well documented for this area. That would probably be something more for like academic, wizard academies. And
That is absolutely something you could find in a college about any civilized scouted location.
Right, I was going to say, I would imagine that in Mont Laurent's world, they were charted kind of like currents in the ocean.
Yeah, because any civilization that has wizards or other magic users as a part of a high level caste would necessarily have want for that. And that's true here as well.
Right.
Creating something like that is definitely... Sorry, I didn't mean to ping that. Creating something like that is definitely a gargantuan task of its own. And honestly, it would usually be something that would like kind of just happen naturally over time as people find things rather than go out looking for them.
Yeah, for sure. And I imagine,
It's like,
in the Redshift, it would be like a thesis project for somebody or something.
That's Dex's third thesis after he's done here. It's kind of like how you'd find like places that would become mining towns. It's not somebody goes out looking
like
for
mana dowsing.
Yeah, basically. Like,
we need to invent that.
You might have a few people. You might have a few crazy people who go out specifically looking for gold, but most people are gonna just kind of bump into it, and then all of a sudden, wealth.
Right. Absolutely.
So, in terms of how that sort of thing is normally arranged, through my travels through the area, have I been able to kind of get a feeling for things being fairly orderly and predictable?
Arcana.
Okay.
We'll call this a campfire chat for you guys.
I'm gonna use my last mental die. I think I used 3 of them last time, so
sure, yeah.
Add my last mental die in here. So 1d4. Sweet, and then we'll do Arcana when it shows up.
Thank you, roll 20. 18. So, in terms of like what you've been able to detect, as you've moved through the Redshift zone, you wouldn't say there's anything that strikes you as particularly out of the ordinary. Obviously, there are places and pockets where there are surges and pockets where it is weak. But that's the sort of normal stuff that you'd find anywhere in the world, especially places that have been affected by high magic before. So, like the aftermath of major wars, or places where there used to be major civilization but is no longer. Like, these things have lasting repercussions for a long time. But one piece of knowledge that you would have just in general is that as far as ley line intersections go, like I was saying about how like a mining town might pop up, if you're living in a high civilization that uses a lot of magic, which based on everything you know, and based on the fact that they do have one of these moon elf towers, which are generally regarded as pretty significant epicenters of magical knowledge. These sorts of civilizations tend to have their largest cities that are not specifically concentrated on a location for some other reason, like trade or military. Any other major town or city would probably be sat right on a ley line or near one, so that the wizards who live there can do their work easily.
I see. Very cool.
Actually, that's just very logical. Makes perfect sense.
And then as far as Fort Maricus goes, actually, Dex has told you himself that Maricus was a pretty good spot of decent power, and that's how he was able to hook the obelisk Veritas into the world.
Right.
Gosh.
Same as the Grove, right?
The Grove is a little bit different. It's powerful because of who lives there.
I see.
Although that is a chicken and egg problem. So Dryads just pop up.
She's been around a long time.
Yes. Yeah, well over 1,000 years for her. I don't think she's given you a specific age, but you know she's... she did...
Yeah, she mentioned some events that were like 1,000 years, so we kind of knew that.
She did talk to people who lived in Vesoth.
Yeah.
So she's lived through the whole Redshift.
But I mean, she's old enough and powerful enough that she creates her own vortex. She's like woven the ley lines into her environment.
Or again, that could be something that caused her to be born there, even.
Well, I don't know that we know where she was born. She could have
Exactly, yeah.
Right, but it could have been that there was such a concentration of ley line energy there that she was drawn to be born there.
Right.
Yeah, because again, when it comes to like producing dryads, either they come out of the Feywild and just decide to stay here, or they pop out of a tree, like Great Deku Tree Sprout.
All right.
I don't think you guys have asked grandmother where she came from.
No.
Yeah, I don't think that ever came up.
No. We did talk about some age things so that we knew that she's like 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
Because she knew the world before the Redshift. She knew
Precisely.
she knew people from Vesson. Yeah, I don't think we did talk to her at all about where she came from.
All right. So, were we gonna set up for camp then?
Yeah, I'm assuming most of that conversation happened around the campfire.
Okay. I guess one camp activity that I would be hoping to do, and anybody can help out if they want to, is trying to see what sort of food there is in the area, specifically kind of larger fruits and such.
Sounds good. Yeah. These lizard friends of yours, like I said, they have enough rations for the same amount of time as you guys do, and they can survive on light rations. As a large beast, they're able to stretch things out as long as you don't push them too hard. If you guys do hard riding at speed, you might have to worry about that a little bit more.
Right.
Okay, then. If you're just looking around and foraging, I'm going to ask you for a survival check. Anybody who wants to help can join in.
Right on.
How do we help?
You tell me that you are going to help Nimbus,
Help
and
it.
then
You roll better than that. But I would like to help.
Not
Oh my
helping.
god. Well, I'm going to share my
I think these
rations.
mushrooms might be okay.
I'm going to share my rations. I have 2 left.
Well, no, we came out. We still had 2 left ourselves. But I was just looking
Yeah, we all have enough rations.
trying
We
to
might just-
get ahead on things.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah,
if we do need
right.
to make a force march, we can actually.
Because I didn't want you guys all starving.
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, today that performance is not going to do it.
All right. That's fine.
And this area immediately surrounding the camp is quite dry of resources for you to eat. Not good foraging.
All right. Well, then, you wanted encounter checks for the rest?
Yes. Why don't we do it? We'll do it 1 hex at a time again. So you guys can move your first one for free as always, and then we'll do encounters 1 at a time.
Okay.
So whoever wants to roll, just go ahead and do it.
I rolled first last time.
All right.
17. Okay. Your first hex is all clear as usual. Your second hex is also all clear. Your afternoon hex is interesting.
Damn it.
Naya, can you hit the encounter button? in the afternoon, as you guys are patrolling along, going eastward today, Naya, you hear a kind of loud, vibrating humming from your left ear as you are on the left flank of the party.
Okay, anybody else hear that?
Momentarily, everybody else will.
I was going to say, should I throw some perception up?
But you're the first one, Naya.
Okay, well, I'm going to point it out. I'm hearing a hum. I don't know if it's bugs, bees, something, but I'm hearing a hum.
Can we determine what the source is?
Oh, yeah, you could look left.
Yeah, let's look left.
So what you guys see is a bumblebee the size of a car.
Lovely.
Holy shit. Okay, now I want to use this as a baseline.
It is approaching your party ponderously.
I'm trying to memorize kind of the sound so I can use this in a song later.
Does it seem angry?
Roll animal handling?
Can I use a mental dice on that?
Yeah, I think so.
I actually have some proficiency in animal handling.
Is a bumblebee an animal?
Yeah.
Okay, I speak with animals prepared.
Okay, with a 15 Montlarn, based on what you've seen of bees in the past, this large bumblebee seems curious and roving, not angry.
Okay. In that case, everyone, I suggest that maybe we just try to get out of its way. Hide any bright colors. Look less like flowers if you can.
Yeah.
And as I say that, I'll draw my cloak's hood up to hide my blonde hair.
You know
Real
what?
talk.
Give me just a moment here. If I
Nimbus is blue.
just create a cloud of darkly colored water that we can just kind of walk through, and the vapors will stay dark and kind of dim our colors for a moment.
Oh, I see.
Change the water's color or opacity. Lasts for an hour. So basically, I'm going to make the water look tar black and opaque.
You can become damp and dark.
Yeah, just making like a mist that we can walk through and have it kind of gather on us.
All right. The bee is coming closer.
I wonder if there's something sweet we have that it's interested in.
Did you pick up any fruit?
Nope.
I don't think I have any.
No. I mean,
You guys do have some for the animals. But
that's
like,
true.
That's like in their saddlebags.
I have my flute. I'm going to try to compose a tune that riffs off the drone of its.
Okay. Can you roll performance for me?
I have an idea.
Great.
Sir,
Yes.
I want to use my gauntlets of embiggening to make my shield very big, and then I'm going to start waving it madly in the direction of the bumble.
To make wind.
Breeze it away.
No, but I mean, if that works, awesome. But rather to appear to be a living animal rather than a plant.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
like a horse's tail, or
All right. So let's. The way I'm envisioning the party is like left to right. Naya, Ambergreen, Montlarn, and Nimbus. So, if this thing is coming from like the back left, Montlarn, as you start waving your shield around, the bee notices, as far as you can tell, and kind of swoops left slowly and goes around to where Ambergreen has made his level 9 dupe. And it seems interested in the flute.
Oh, nice.
That wasn't quite what I had in mind, but good luck to you, man.
All right, so I guess I'm gonna try to soothe it. If I know, do I notice that it's like attracted to my flute?
There's a very clear reaction when you play your music. It kind of like it fixates on you visually, and it like twitches back and forth a little bit. Almost on rhythm, you would say. You're not sure if you're seeing things, though.
I guess I'm gonna keep playing.
Ambergreen, the Pied Piper of
Big bees. I like big bees. Oh, I like big bees.
All right, with a 12, when you finish, when you get to the end, it does a little barrel roll spin.
No shit. Okay, I'm gonna do that again.
You can replicate this, and it'll do it again.
Do barrel roll.
Okay, and your third one is much better.
Yeah, check it out. I'm like, look, guys, the bee. What if I stop playing? What happens?
It'll just kind of like watch you for a little bit, depending on how long you stop playing.
That's a neat trick.
Indeed. That's I've never seen anyone train a bee before.
And I didn't even have to cast a spell. This is great.
That said, you're not thinking of taking that with us, are you? Perhaps you should.
I don't know how to make it.
Reward it?
I don't know what I've got.
I fish out a. God, it's a bee. That's not going to work. I have nothing either.
Naya, do you by any chance have any containers of honey from when Ruby hangs around?
Let me check. Sorry, I don't have any honey with me.
The child took all of it.
Well, if Ruby's not coming with me, I don't generally bring honey.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I was just hoping you might have some or something.
Now, are you guys kind of all like stopped and circled around this thing at this point, or are you have you allowed your animals to continue walking?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't personally want to stop. I would stop if everybody else did, but I'm keeping my distance from that thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same. I mean, I can talk to it.
I thought we were riding
if we're going to
along.
do that, but I just keep going.
No, yeah, okay. So what I'm envisioning now is that like Ambergreen has sat like around backsided on his lizard and is playing flute with this bee. And you guys are going, and it's kind of just following a little bit, like 20 feet behind.
That was basically what I was thinking. Until it did a cool thing, and I went, hey, look, you guys, look. And then I showed them.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about making a camp with that thing.
Pied Piper, yep.
I mean,
After,
for my
like-
sake, I'm a little bit more worried that more of them will show up.
After like a
Right.
half hour of your cleric bard entertaining this bee, um, it Ambergreen, it kind of like zooms past your head,
Wow.
and then loops around the party, and goes back the way it came.
Nice.
Okay. As long as it doesn't sting anybody.
No,
That's
it
cool,
does
though.
not sting you.
Naya, you got a pretty good look at that thing. I wonder, you can't turn into something like that yet, can you?
It would have a fly speed.
I know. I'm
Yeah,
asking
I'm
the
not big enough
character.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
No, I don't think I can yet.
Well,
I don't know though. I mean, it's also really, really big. I'm presuming it's redshifted. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can wild shape into redshifted things.
Interesting.
It might have been redshifted, but in being redshifted, it seemed to retain all of the properties of a bee, perhaps maybe even a little more intelligent.
Oh, and they may have other properties we don't even know about.
For all we know, they've been engaged in a war with the death bugs all across the land, and we just met their first ambassador.
Could be a fire bee.
If we're ever faced with an army of bees like that, I can make them all barrel roll.
And I can speak with animals, but it's kind of like, what are we gonna do? And if we're gonna keep on trucking, that's fine.
Did you ever try to speak with animals on the bad bugs?
The death bugs?
I don't
No.
think we did.
You
Yeah.
did-
I think
determined they weren't
I think I
beasts.
did try it, and it was a bust because they were considered a monster
Yes.
or something.
That's right. Yeah.
Because they were a
Monstrosities and,
monster, I could not wild shape into them.
monstrosities
and
and
they're-
not beasts.
Yeah, and so there's things I can't do that I can do with things labeled beast.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess that would be
I
the
had forgotten the
question.
details.
Would be with your druidliness, were you able to kind of discern like, yeah, that was just a big beast, or no, that was actually a monster bee? I guess that'd be more of a question for Serb.
Yeah, I couldn't necessarily determine that. It was certainly big enough to be a monstrosity.
I
But
can
it
roll a
was
nature check to
not
see
aggressive.
if you can figure that out. You'd have advantage, though.
Roll what?
You
Nature.
can roll nature with advantage.
Yeah.
If you would like to try to mentally, magically determine the bee.
You said nature, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't suck.
No, that's good. From what you could see, it was a perfectly ordinary bee at 100 times its size.
Sure, that's not 1,000.
Maybe 1,000. You don't know if that change makes it into something that a druid cannot replicate, or not. I don't think you've tried yet, but one way of testing that, you might realize is these lizards that you're currently riding are also very large versions of a species of lizard that exists in small, ordinary lizard size throughout other locations in the world.
Interesting.
Maisie explained this to you, I think, when you first encountered them, that they're like a they're a common like pet and trick lizard that are easily tamed for simple rewards, and that's part of why they made such convenient beasts for you to have on your side. They're kind of instinctually built for that kind of cooperative stuff.
So let me just make sure that I understand. Can I wild shape into our lizard mount?
I don't think you've tried yet, unless you want to say that you've tried during.
No, I haven't.
Unless you want to say
tried.
that you've tried during downtime, I'd be willing to let you retcon that in as some downtime activity if you really want, or you could try it now.
I don't think it had occurred to me that I could do that. I think I assumed it was some other kind of non-aggressive but monstrosity.
Yeah, you wouldn't. I think as a druid, like you wouldn't really know until you sort of try. And
Okay.
it wouldn't cost a wild shape to do it and fail, but it would if you did it and succeeded.
Okay.
Oh, I forget. Do you get wild shapes back on short rest?
Okay. Well, that's something that
Oh,
she
yeah,
can
you do.
certainly play around with on her next downtime. But yeah, as of this moment, it hadn't occurred to her to even try it because there was an assumption that it was some kind of a monstrosity.
Yeah, you do get wild shapes back on a short rest, so you could do 2 per day, even more than 2 per day if you guys short rest inside a area or something.
And I can try, wild shaping into that bumblebee size. It would be kind of a bummer if it wild shaped into a bumblebee, but the normal size instead of the thousand size. I mean, we all might go whoop-de-doo if
Yeah,
it's a normal
so the
bumblebee.
only thing that you can't currently do is shape yourself into anything that can fly.
Oh, well, that'd be another reason why you couldn't have done the death bug, because it's,
That's true. They can fly. Yeah.
Well, and back when we first met death bugs, very early.
The first one didn't fly.
She wasn't high enough level to do anything with flight.
Yeah. I think you still aren't. I think you have to be.
I believe it's 8.
Right. I think I have another level before I can do that. I can swim now, but I can't fly yet.
Yeah. Wild shape.
But I can add it to my list of things to try.
No flying speed until druid 8th level. Yeah. You can stay in beast shape. Number of hours equal to half your druid level. I forgot about that. I thought it was just 1 hour flat. So Naya can currently be a beast for 2 hours.
Rad.
Yes.
Oh, and also
such a beast, Naya.
You can just expend another use of it to just not revert and extend the time. That's
And
handy.
stay beast mode.
Yeah,
It doesn't restore the health, though.
that is true.
Huh, so the meta is let it expire and recast it. Interesting.
Yeah.
The only reason why you wouldn't do that is if you have to
If you wanted to save an action or something.
or you need to not break your cover because you're posing as an
Yeah.
animal and it's some extended thing.
Yeah,
Right.
there are use cases for both of these things.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I've never played a druid, so I hadn't even considered it.
I didn't realize Wild Shape was a short rest, though. That definitely makes the Circle of the Moon a lot more viable. It's just like Ultra Tank. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I have 3 health
Moon
pools
is-
every short rest.
Moon is good. Yeah.
Use it as a combat ability.
Well, also considering they get to start with challenge rating 1 creatures, not 1/8 or whatever.
Yeah, they
Right.
go up. They get bears at 30.
Oh,
I
it
was-
started
I
off
was-
small.
That's exactly what I was going to suggest is you get to a point where it's like, oh, combat, cool, I roll initiative, now I'm a bear.
Yeah.
Or, now I'm an elemental.
Yeah, I mean, up
so.
until now, there hasn't really been much use for it except scouting. It's very handy to turn into a little
Yeah,
tiny
and
spider.
as
and
a
scout
land
around.
druid, you are often there are definitely times I think in combat when you can get some use out of some beasts, but as a land druid, you're restricted to sort of weaker beasts. So doing stuff like turning into a spider or a cat or a mouse, that's all really good.
Yeah, and it's useful for scouting.
It has been super useful.
I mean, turning into a wolf and attacking a creature that's hard to hit with magic, that's always a solution because you can, knock them down and stuff like that, and then get the
Yeah, you
advantage of
can
pack
get stuff
tactics.
that's knocked down, so you can get pack tactics.
Things with poisons. Giant
Also,
spider
obviously
for
good
web is
for
pretty
like
good.
perception checks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Can you do giant spider? Is that a CR 1/2 or CR?
I think. Well, I'm not going to look it up, but
I'll look it up because you guys have seen a giant spider.
we haven't seen
There
them in a
are
while.
giant
different
spider's
kinds
on
of-
my list.
Yeah, we saw them in that forest early on.
Oh yeah, giant spider
Yeah.
CR 1.
CR1? Oh, okay. So that not yet. That'd be at 8.
Yeah, Drew CR 1 to 8.
But Circle of the Moon. It's level 2. Giant spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got like 8 or 9 set up already that I can just...
But she has
Pop
giant wolf spider because
Ooh.
giant wolf spider is 1/4, and that's just a medium spider.
Yes.
So it's not even close to the size or level as a giant spider. But like if you're in an area with a lot of webs, you still get web sense and web walker. So
And you can, of course, set up an area for that too if you're planning an ambush.
yep.
Why are there all these spider webs on the road? Gosh. Oh no, I'm trapped.
Don't walk into spider webs. Also, we do have Axebeak, Naya.
Oh yes.
We have what?
Axebeak, which
Right.
doesn't really have any abilities except it can do a beak.
It can
Right.
beak pretty hard.
I mean, but
They
it
move
can
fast.
it can hit fairly fast.
They are
fairly
they're
fairly
fast.
strong.
They have a speed of 50.
Yeah. So
But I
you
mean,
can haul
really,
ass in
if I need to be strong enough to haul stuff, I can turn into a draft horse.
Yep.
Yep.
Failing that, I can be a mule. I got options, but none of them have been great for like combat.
Yeah, your wolf is honestly your best one for combat. I think you could
Right,
get
and I
away
think
with,
of that
like,
more as DPS rather than tank.
Well,
Yeah.
it's because it's extending your health pool. Once its health pool reaches 0, you revert and you're at full health minus whatever overage damage.
Yeah,
So,
your basic wolf only has 11 hit points, so it's not like
not a lot, but
you could spring a surprise attack on somebody with it and that get away with it. Constrictor Snake has a little bit more health and has some decent moves. You can grapple and restrain. And
And I don't remember why we don't have polar bear on here or bear, unless it had to do with the CR.
I think bears are a little bit higher CR.
Yeah,
let me just double
that
check
sounds
for
about
you.
right. They would have definitely been a thing from your area, but and that's the thing. I can't remember with druids. Do they have to be of the level where they can shape into the thing before they can learn that shape, or do they just need
No.
to have like seen it once?
They need to have seen it.
Yeah,
Okay.
as long as you've seen it in the past.
Right.
Like-
So as long as she's seen it, it's when she gets to be high enough.
In
Then
theory,
she'll
if
have
a
that.
druid goes to a zoo.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
well,
Right,
like
exactly.
I
Messy stuff.
assume there must be some level of research and practice involved. But yeah, all the bears that I'm looking up, they are... hey, black bear is actually CR 1/2.
No, not bad.
So you could go black bear nowadays. Brown bears, are they higher? Yeah, brown bears are 1. So black bear is the lowest one. It's got like... it does have multi-attack. It's got a D6 hit and a 2D4 hit.
Hey, have I seen a black bear?
Have we fought a bear in this campaign?
No,
Nope.
we haven't.
I don't think so. I think it's reasonable that Naya's seen a bear before.
Certainly seen a polar bear.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, like definitely that. But I mean, you also like lived in the Southlands for 10 years. I feel like Naya's probably seen a bear.
Sure,
If you-
but this
if you
is
wanna-
specifically black bear.
Oh yeah. No, I think that's reasonable. If you want to
All
add
right.
black bear to your list, feel free.
I added it to the list, so that's something I can do on
Nice.
downtime.
Remind me to put a stat block together for you for that.
Yeah, we've got every time I add one, you have work to do. So
It's
I'm just
like a
making a list.
5-minute thing. So, anyway, shall we continue walking?
Yeah.
Who's rolling next?
Yeah, you guys are getting up onto your nighttime encounter check as you're camping out and going overnight.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one who hasn't rolled, so it's probably me.
Okay. $15. Go ahead and choose your hex if you would. And Montlaurent, up late as usual. What does Montlaurent usually do while everybody else is asleep?
He trances.
Well,
he trances for 4 hours.
Yeah, that's while somebody else is actually doing watch, because I can't do watch while I trance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he sits, he looks around, he composes poetry in his head, that kind of stuff. He'd never say any of that out loud, though.
Does he whittle?
Poems, no less. The lad fancies himself.
Nah, he's not a whittler.
Your poetry goes undisturbed tonight. And
That probably makes it worse.
He's got 4 whole hours to just let it build.
Is your poetry like teenage angst?
Oh, you know it.
You know it.
He's like 70, so he is a teenager.
Exactly.
So this is
Too funny.
This is where we're going to be stopping then.
This is your day 3, end of day 3, I think.
Yeah, I mean stopping for the day, not stopping for the session.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, you guys will have to do your rations or survivaling, and then
I'm going to. Can't really ask the lizards like, "Hey, come help us find food." But
any role that you do, well, okay. So what I could do there is, if you guys want to do an animal handling role instead of a survival role, I'll let you do that, and that would represent you taking the lizards and trying to get them to like sniff out some fruits or something.
I mean,
Naya
would be able to cast
talk to animals.
speak to animals as a ritual, right?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like you can literally ask them to do this for you. But I'm just saying it's going to take a roll either way. And so if you like have a higher stat in animal handling, you can.
Oh, the reason I was thinking of this was to try to
Yeah,
either
okay.
give them advantage or them give us advantage. To
We'll
you
just
know,
have Ambergreen handle it.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he spotted some food on the way.
That he did. What exactly were you looking for, Ambergreen?
Probably some sort of creature that would feed all of us, or if I knew enough about the plants here, something that was like, that's a food plant, not a thing that would be what you call it, not a subsistence plant, but a food plant.
Right. So one sec. Let me just. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So. It is late in the year, so as far as like food plants go, there is not that much just around in general. But you think you guys must have stumbled onto a place that maybe was an orchard at some point, because Ambergreen, you find a small little like woods of trees that one of them in particular seems to be a very late harvest and is flush with apples.
Oh, look, guys, Scrumpy. Let's get some apples.
All right.
Evergreen, if you're riding your lizard when you get there, its tongue is already up in the tree.
Yeah, I figure it's eating some. They're like, yeah, bring them over, feed the animals too, and like start to gather them up. I mean, to what we can comfortably carry.
Yeah, it's plenty for a day.
Okay,
and
so
you guys can.
This will cover a day's worth then?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Very cool. So then we get to keep the one ration that we had.
Yes, you do.
Sweet. Okay.
And we are going into day 4.
Nice. So that being said, I don't know if pushing on further would be the best idea, or if we should start maybe circling back towards the north, going through some territory that hasn't been covered yet, and trying to end back home planning in maybe 3 days from now.
So basically,
we already had the first wave.
Nope.
No, yeah. So you know, like the first wave is probably coming any hour now. If you, as always, you can outrun the Redshift on foot. So if you about face from wherever you are, you will make it back to Orbis, no problem. You do know that where you're at is totally unknown territory to the east. You know that, especially if the obelisk going up in the temple is successful over the next couple of weeks, the other scouts will probably clean up the area around the center here pretty speedily. Nobody's gone there yet, though, to your knowledge, though, so you might find something.
All right. Well, there's either kind of clearing more in the area where we're at, or clearing that kind of island of space over there.
Yeah, I mean, from where we are right now, we're 3 days or more to get back anyway, and supplies are running out. So maybe, what do you think about driving straight north and then driving southwest from there?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right, so I will go ahead and give you guys the first one and then the second one, and we can start rolling. 16, all clear. First half of the day is uneventful. You guys make good time. In fact, the entire day is fine. And toward the end of the day, your lizards start to like kind of they almost start to rebel a little bit as the swamplands become drier and drier, until eventually you realize that you are not in a bog anymore. You have reached a point where there is grass, open fields. You're kind of looking out over the edge of this.
All right. Well, that is a good thing to know.
Indeed.
And one thing I will tell you that you can see is maybe 40, 50 miles to your east, northeast, mountains, peaks.
All right.
Off in the distance.
That reminds me, we have a map, don't we, of this?
You do have an old map, yeah. Here I can do documents. Show the players.
Yeah. I was thinking about this as we were traveling today. There should be a range of mountains that leads to this. What is this? Shosi or Shos? In a pass, then leading on to Alsanes, which is where the folks that we met in the past said that they were going. I'm curious if we might not reconnect with them again somehow when we arrive there.
It's likely. I don't know if they would have
Lauren, can
gone...
you make me a just make it like a straight intelligence check?
Yeah.
Unless they knew someone over
Big-
the
big
mountains.
oof.
Seems like they would have gone through shows first.
I mean, maybe we could meet them there.
It's just a thought. I wonder what they got.
Lauren's having thoughts.
Right. I just wonder what they got to, you know? They seem like nice people.
I expect that we'll run into them at least once more. I mean, I kind of expect that we'll run into them a number of times.
It does seem like it's been that way.
Yeah, and time seems pretty circular here. So as long as we keep having those, I don't know what they are, flashback, flash forward, flash sideways, but where time kind of temporarily loops on itself, and the worlds collide, I expect that we'll see them again.
I kind of hope so.
Yeah. We certainly learn a lot from the environment when they're around. It's been pretty useful.
Indeed. It's, as I say, it's definitely sped up our progress to the east.
Then something I would probably do is take the early rest, and then during final watch, I would be building up the 25-foot ice tower so that I could
look around.
Yeah, so we can try to peer off in the distance.
Very well.
Further.
I believe what we said for that was using Badath in one location for that. You'd be able to get the hexes surrounding you.
Yep.
Okay. So I will give you those.
All right. That really helps. That is
Yeah.
very, very helpful for us.
Yeah.
Starting to define the edge of this swamp is very good for us.
Yeah, so what you can see is that the you are definitely in like lowlands, and as you go out now, I don't want to do this and accidentally reveal something, so one sec. But I would like to give a certain amount of this. Where are you exactly? Okay, I see. So if we do, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like right there. Yeah. So that's about where the mountains that you can see are, and they go kind of this way.
Cool.
I'll just give you a few of these.
All
I guess.
right.
Let me see. Yeah, basically that.
Fantastic.
Cool.
So over that way is you could see distant peaks.
That's dope. Awesome.
Yeah, at least now we kind of understand the extent of the swamp, or at least one of its boundaries. All right, are we gonna hunt again? We might have better luck here.
We should probably do that.
Okay. You guys, whoever wants to tell me what kind of hunting they're doing can give me a survival roll.
All right, I'm gonna try trapping rabbits.
Cool. Oh,
Good
Damn.
choice.
excellent.
Nicely done.
While he's doing that, I would probably also be looking in the... Well, no. Never mind. I did what I was doing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Rabbit traps are quite successful. Overnight, while you're just taking your watch, you hear the snaps of the wires that you set up, and
the cries of the dying rabbits.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah.
The screeches through the night.
Okay, thank you.
Hey,
Sound effects. I have a
you-
really
you-
good imagination.
Does
I was gonna say, you've
Naya,
heard this
does Naya
before,
want to be able to turn into a bunny now? That's possible.
Ew.
Not when there's traps around.
But at least you would know how now.
Is there even a rabbit stat block? No. You get enough to feed the party come morning.
Sweet.
You can make up some rabbit breakfast.
Yep. Simple rabbit stew.
And then I suppose
Lauren
we'd
can
be
cook, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
sharing the rations to the creatures. So are we like at a half set of rations, or how's that work?
In terms of the beasts, I'm not going to worry about them too much as long as you don't push them too hard.
Okay.
They can like forage a little bit on their own. Kind of they can kind of graze when you guys take breaks, and they can also go for longer periods of time than you guys without having food for a day or two.
Gotcha.
But again, like I said, if you push them hard, like if you go fast, double speed, I would make you ensure that you have enough food for them every day because they'll get tired, and also they do have a harder time walking outside of the swamp than in it.
Right.
They're used to kind of the amphibious life of like gliding into mud and then out of mud and then back in after a few steps and that sort of thing.
That makes sense. Squeaky door.
The squeaky door. All right, cool. Well, are we gonna break camp and head southeast or southwest then?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, I rolled first last time, so somebody else can roll first.
Naya, have you been rolling encounters?
Yeah, but I only rolled one.
Hey, thank you, Amber Green. Naya, you're okay. Wait, you rolled the wrong thing.
Oh, I did. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah, so do you guys want to take your first and second move?
Sure.
Okay, so straight southwest.
Mhm.
Amber Green. Hit that
Yes.
encounter button.
Let's do it.
Beautiful. You are, I assume Amber Green is relatively constantly in a state of doodling with his flute.
Pretty much, yeah. That's exactly
Okay. You hear something that like harmonizes with you for a second.
Oh, how delightful.
and then like if you stop and listen for it, or keep playing, you'll hear it again for just a second.
Right.
And if you stop again while you're silent, you'll hear it again. It's like a little
Accompaniment. A little accompaniment.
it's like a little rhythmic, not really a beat, but like a tone.
That's really cool. Oh, I will keep playing with it.
It sounds like it's coming from underneath you.
Okay, I'm gonna look for where it's coming from.
You'll have to hop off your lizard, or like move.
Or maybe.
your-
Why can't I can probably call to one of the other members of the party and say, "Hey, look under the lizard here. Is there something under?"
Yeah, you can do that too.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I could look for him.
Okay. Montlarin, you approaching Ambergreen. As you get closer, you hear the same like like dong every now and then, every few 10 seconds or so. And you can kind of pinpoint like it's coming directly from under where Ambergreen is standing on his lizard.
So, like, coming from the ground?
Yes.
Huh. It seems to be beneath you.
That's what I was saying.
I can hear it, but I don't see it.
No, you don't
I'm
see
not-
anything there.
I'm not going to lie, that's a little concerning.
I am getting kind of weirded out, but I'm gonna keep playing with it.
Yeah, do I get a sense of anything fiendish, celestial, or...
No. No smell for you. Ambergreen, going with it a little bit longer, you realize it's not like playing with you. It is just a interval that you happened to match with the first.
Gotcha.
couple.
I was just playing along, and now it's just
Yeah.
going bonk,
Yeah.
bonk. Sorry. I'm gonna ask if anyone else can figure out what's.
I assume you've moved aside at this point, Ambergreen.
Yes.
Is it? I wonder, is it under you or is it under the lizard?
Well, once he moves aside, you can pinpoint the sound to where he was standing, not where he is standing. As the lizard kind of snuffles at it. So clearly the lizards can hear it too.
Do they seem to be reacting to it in any way?
The one Ambergreen is riding, has acknowledged it by like sniffing around the area where the sound is coming from. Just curiously.
Interesting.
It's not acting alarmed though.
Your understanding of this creature is it's cautiously curious.
You know what?
What's this thing that I
I'm
hear?
gonna pull out my sham and try to play the same or similar sort of thing to what Evergreen was playing on his flute.
Okay. Again, you find like matching him, that this is the noise that's being produced is just a tone that's occurring on a roughly like 10-second interval.
Did it move to my position?
No.
Weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I'm not sure what it is.
Wonder if
It does sound slightly muffled.
that bee blessed you with some sort of Underfoot rhythm.
I mean, you could try to dig whatever it is out, I suppose.
Or maybe it'll blow up.
Yeah, I don't know that I trust it either.
Is this a everybody let the paladin stick the shovel? Stand back 10 to 30 feet?
I would be okay with that if you want to try it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually have a shovel, but I do have a shield.
Yeah.
Mm,
The ground is soft too. Big scooping hands. You've got available with magic items.
That's a good point. I mean, I only have one charge left, but I could make big, strong hands. What do y'all think?
This is a fun item.
yeah, go for it.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna
I'll
move
do that.
clear and play my flute and watch.
All right. So you embiggen your hands, and you just kind of like scoop up a bunch of dirt and mud and place it aside. And your first scoop, you get a bunch of stuff. You plop it to the side, kind of like where you're hearing this sound, and it definitely becomes less muffled immediately, and you hear the tone more clearly. Do you continue?
Yeah, I guess like now that we can hear it more clearly, do I have any reason to feel like it's now ominous or dreadful?
You didn't get any fiendish or undead insight from it at the very least.
Yeah, I think I'd keep going.
All right, you take another scoop, and as the mud kind of falls through your fingers, you feel the vibration of the tone in your hand, and kind of center it on a fist-sized rock, normal fist-sized for Montlaran rock that you have picked up out of the ground.
And it's making that tone, huh?
So like as you brush the muck away, and I assume you've gone back to normal size at this point.
Oh yeah.
You find that it is a quite dirty, but very smooth, like marble, sort of egg-shaped on one side and flat on the other. And it has cursive writing as though with ink scrawled across the flat side if you turn it horizontally.
Huh. Okay. As soon as I realized that, I would turn to Neuro and Naya and go, do either of you recognize this?
Let me check that out.
Yeah. Interesting.
There are characters in that cursive text that you can read.
Can you tell what language it is?
So I clicked that thing, but it wasn't a roll. Sir, what do I need to roll?
You don't need to roll anything to read Druidic.
Okay.
Oh.
But what you see written on this stone object on the flat side, again, it's like it looks like it was handwritten with like ink, like it's not carved into the stone or anything. It's just sort of maybe painted on, and it says this.
Those look like map coordinates.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
I mean, we don't know what the coordinates are of, because those numbers don't look quite right. But they do look like a location stone singing out the coordinates.
Yeah, exactly. After watching them for for a moment, they don't change or anything, do they?
No.
Huh. Okay. Well, I think we probably want to bring this back to Orvis.
Yeah,
This
it's kind of
might
unfortunate because for anybody who actually uses those stones to track coordinates, if we pick it up and take it with us, it won't work anymore.
Well, do the coordinates change as it moves?
I don't know. Go 10 feet the other direction. I'll stand here where you
Yeah,
pick the
so
stone up.
do you guys like go 10, 100 feet and see if it...
Yeah.
for
I'll
sure.
stand
Yeah.
here where
Yeah.
the stone was, and you
All
go
right.
walk and see if
So,
the numbers change.
Malarn and
Totally.
Nimbus, you guys bolt over southwest a little bit more, and a minute later you stop. You look at the stone again. It's the same.
Interesting.
Well, we can keep an eye on it. If I like wrap it in my cloak, does it get quieter?
Well, it
It's-
was muffled by the mud.
That's why I'm asking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like super loud, to begin with. In fact, when you do that, like as you start to bundle it up and as you've handled it with your bare hands, it now stops making a noise.
Interesting. Huh. Well, then I guess for now I'll just store it in a pouch. Like maybe that pouch that has that tiny scary skull in it. Unless you all object. Like if one of you wants to examine it while we travel, I'm happy to give it to you too.
I mean, I can try to figure it out.
We need to mark this spot, like so we can really find it in 2 weeks.
That's
I mean, we need to bring it back and show it to the Brigadier and Dacus and stuff like that. But it's like we need to mark this spot where it was found so that the stone can go back. I mean, if there are more stones like this and there's a whole map grid, then we need to know where this one came from.
That's a good point. I mean,
This is like the Rosetta Stone of some kind of a maybe of if it's a map.
right. It could also be that the coordinates aren't for this location, but rather for some other location it's linked to. It could be a, I believe you would call them a port key. We would use them to control teleporters back home.
Right.
It might be that
Right, but like a keystone
if
or
you
a-
understand it. Yeah.
Interesting.
And it could be just simply a magical stone that has no bearing on a map or
Right.
teleportation or any of those.
Could just be the owner like numbers.
Right. But I think we need to mark this place. And it's going to be hard to find unless we build a flippin' tower. But I think we need to do our best to try to mark.
Well, I mean, with those big hands of yours, you can pretty much just like break and move large pieces of these trees and kind of.
I already shrank my hands down though, and I'm out of charges.
They used to be such big, strong hands.
Right.
Not sure what we can really do then. Just kind of build something, or
If there are enough like stones or logs, we could build like a cairn or something. And I mean, we do have a, we are charting the area, so we'll have a basic map. If we know what to look for, we should be able to find it.
that's true.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, was building some kind of a little cairn. But it needs to be like, what did the stone say? What are the numbers?
Oh yeah.
And-
Like, you guys
and
can build a
marketing.
cairn, and then like if you have this location marked on the map, it probably would not be hard at all for you to find a cairn that you build if you wanted to come back here eventually.
Okay. Yeah, and just once we figure out what it's actually used for, we might want to put it back.
Yeah, you guys have been exploring for 2 years of your career now, plus whatever you did before this. So like finding a spot you've been before is not a hard challenge.
Right. Yeah, all right. Neuro, you said that you wanted to perhaps investigate it, so I'll just
Yeah.
hand the stone to you.
Sounds good. All right. Then, as we when we take the next break, I should be able to use detect magic and identify and try to find more about
Yeah.
it. But we should
And
probably keep pace.
yeah, as you guys all get back onto your lizards, that is the moment that the music of the first wave that has been occurring since your first visit to Thesbridge occurs, and you are all blasted by that sensation again, and notified that the Redshift will be on its way.
Yeah, time to get a move on.
Yep.
You're halfway through the day at this point.
2 more squares then.
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll stop rolling for encounters at that point, I think. Yeah. So if you guys just want to go in a particular direction at this point, that is fine.
Yeah, I assume we just straight southwest.
Just like this and then down, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easy enough. You're able to clear a little bit more of the map. Get that noted down for later. I will ask you guys to make one more survival check for finding enough food to make it back.
All right. Not me.
I still have a
Ambergreen-
ration.
Yeah, it's going to take you like a little over 2 days to get back.
Oh, okay.
So,
Not me.
Ambergreen and Nimbus together, you guys are able to find some well enough foraging.
Okay.
At the very least, enough to hold you over. You guys will be hungry by the time you get back in the next couple of days. Probably beeline for Mercutio's shop.
Well, actually, I think Naya did a better job finding stuff.
Hey, yeah. And you added your D4. Perfect. Yeah, so you guys are all set. No problems getting back. Not hungry. And you will make it back to Thesbridge and then into Orvis. For today, I am going to be giving you guys let's see. This is kind of weird because we had Irenaeus join in for a little bit.
That was mostly for the slad fight.
Yeah, and that was most of the combat. So what I'll do is say Irenaeus gets 150 XP, and I'll just add that to their sheet, and then you guys all get 175.
Okay.
Each.
Are you gonna add that, or should we add that?
You go ahead and add that for yourself.
Okay.
175.
Yep. And coming back into Orvis, your payment from the commission for today will be 20 marks as well. So that's for each of you.
All right.
And Nimbus, I think you said you were going to use Identify on that thing, right?
Yeah, I would have used both Detect Magic and Identify to try to learn as much as I can about it.
It is a device used specifically to identify the current location of a different object.
I see.
It's a tile.
Is it possible that the other half of the, if they're like a material, an egg-shaped marble split in half, and that one tracks to where this one is.
I'm not sure the identify spell would give you that much information.
Here, I'll click it one time for you.
Yeah, it tells you what it does, and it tells you what spells are affecting. If it's affected by a spell, you learn its properties and how to use them. Yeah, so basically, you don't know what the object is that this thing is tracking, but it is tracking a specific object. It is telling you the location of that object. And that is it. It doesn't do anything else.
So that's interesting. It is tracking something else. So it's a tracking stone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell Nimbus if it tracks based on some kind of spell program? Like, the question that I'm leading to is, can the program be modified to track something else?
Good question. Is that something
This object seems to be attuned specifically to this one item. This object, from your analysis, what the identify spell gives you is that this thing was created specifically for this one purpose. It is not a general purpose tracking device. It is a find me this item wherever it is on the planet device.
That's interesting.
Down to one thing.
Do the numbers that we have line up with any coordinates of any current maps that we have?
Go ahead, and before you get back to your home base where you actually have maps and stuff like that, go ahead and roll me a history check to see if you can remember.
Okay.
What you get with a 15 is that your observations are astute, and you are pretty sure these are coordinates. You do not remember off the top of your head what the coordinates of Orvis or Fort Maricus or any of that is. So you'll have to go back and check. And I think that's something that we can role play next week as you guys bring this all back and get updated with the commission.
Sounds
good.
All right, then.
I like the sound of that. And so,
Okay.
yeah, all of the other stuff we'll be handling, I guess, in chat in the next session.
Yeah, we will do all the downtime activities and everything next week, and then you guys can head out on your next adventure.
Sounds